The RK2020 is the first in a new generation of retro handhelds. Whereas 2019 and early 2020 was dominated by the RK350 and handhelds that were based on the same chipset, think the PocketGo V2, this generation is based around the ODROID Go Advance. It isn't the original and doesn't bring anything new to the table, but does the RK2020 have it where it counts? Compared to the ODROID, the RK2020 is overall a smaller unit. The screens are the same size, but other than that, they are differently built. The casing is well put together, has a nice texture to it, and overall is a more rounded and pleasing design. The 1 through 6 buttons below the screen are missing, replaced by a standard start and select, but all the other buttons are here. The face buttons have a good travel to them and have a nice concave design compared to the flat buttons of the ODROID, but there is more wiggle room to them, suggesting looser tolerances. Thankfully, the D-pad doesn't have this issue and is larger and less sharp than the OGA. The shoulder buttons have a good tactile feedback, and the L2 and R2 buttons are much better than the original. The joystick is identical to the ODROID and is still sharp, though it now features a sunken design. The RK does show that a silicone joystick cover should be included, but mine didn't come with one. The USB-C, USB-A, mono speaker, and headphone jack all make the jump to the RK2020. You do lose the DIY expansions ports and openings, and overall is a little bit more cramped, but the trade-offs make sense for a consumer device. A few things do get downgraded though, like USB fast charging is no longer supported, and the speaker is now downfiring out of a single opening. Performance in the RK2020 is very good, much as you'd expect. As with the OGA, you can expect everything from 32-bit and under to play perfectly, and a playable experience can be attained on PSP, Dreamcast, and N64 games. A lot of that will be down to your game and emulator choice, but that's where things get a little bit dicey for the RK2020. Right now, there's no dedicated firmware for this device. Yes, you can technically use anything the OGA uses, but most of those expect you to have those dedicated buttons below the screen. EmuElect is the firmware choice since it does get around those limitations somewhat, although it does require you to make some claw-like gestures to open some of the menus. Hopefully a dedicated firmware is released soon to better fit the device, as currently you can't even charge the device when it's turned off without a third-party fix, but until then it does add an asterisk to the whole OGA compatible claim. The RK2020 is an interesting device, though most of its appeal is that it's available for sale right now, and the latest ODROID is constantly in short supply. It does 90% of what the OGA can do, the 90% that consumers actually want, and does so while looking a little bit more polished. It doesn't bring anything new to the table in terms of features. It loses the extra menu buttons along with Wi-Fi. It inherits the downsides of the ODROID by not having dedicated volume and brightness buttons and requires special software to transfer games, although EmuElect has some nifty features that let you transfer games from a FAT32 flash drive. And its compatibility is not perfect, but by and large it's an ODROID Go Advance that you can order right now, comes assembled and comes with an already set up SD card, and is still affordably priced. The OGA is a better device, but the RK2020 is a good enough stand-in to satisfy most people, and just maybe will help the ODROID Go stay in stock.